Good morning. Welcome, everyone. We are getting started. It's been a long time. I feel like it's been so long since our last ACIM conversation. So, what we have done is moving forward, I'm going to have a co host on these ACIM calls, and I'm super excited for it. It's only been 4 years since I found a counterpart in this, and I'm super excited. And let me record. Start recording. Okay. Again, welcome everyone to Financial and Spiritual Abundance Day. We use A Course in Miracles to kind of gain some new perspectives about the things that are going on in our lives. And we got this new book here. So, A Course in Miracles is this book. In case anyone doesn't know, is this one. And basically, it's a self-study book where the premise and the goal around it is to find peace of God, the course calls, within all areas of your life. Hang on. Why am I echoing over here? Who's echoing?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay. Maybe it's just me. All right. So from this space, it's about the course talks about giving up your own ideas and your own perspectives. Luisa, hey, welcome. Welcome everybody. Instagram. So I'll read the introduction first, and then we got this new book called A Year of Miracles. So we're committed to creating miracles in our lives. And miracles really is the shifting of our perspectives and our mindsets from a space of fear or any energetics of fear to any energy or the energy to a space of love. So the course actually says that everything is love. It's just it's masked in a way that we don't see it. Um, so here I'll read the introduction first, and then we will start to have a conversation. I'm going to read the intro, then I'm going to read one uh, day in this book, and then we're going to have a discussion. So the introduction to this call and to the course is: this is a course in miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all encompassing can have no opposites. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way: nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So the entire course is really summed up in that introduction right there. And even in the last three sentences, that nothing real can be threatened. So, what is real? What is real? What is an illusion? Okay. Nothing unreal exists. It doesn't exist because it only exists in your mind, doesn't mean that it is real. Herein lies the peace of God. So we're looking for peace of God. The course points to us that is in every single scenario, we are looking to find that peace. It's not about having more money. It's not about having your partner or your significant other do what you want them to do, or getting anything from anyone. It's about finding that I can be at peace. And how do I find peace? We've kind of put that away, and we've hidden that objective from ourselves. And the course says that it's really the ego with all these different little tricks that you forget that peace is what you want. And you start to seek for things that are not what you want, but you think you want it. hence all the material and temporary things that we go after. Okay, so Natalia, if you want to chime in at any point, feel free to do so. I know you're taking a course with Marianne Williamson, which she's one of my heroes, and great teacher. I listen to her stuff all the time. Why don't you introduce yourself and share your perspective?
Sure. Thanks so much, Alex. Yeah, I decided to take a course with Marianne Williams. My name is Natalia Bastos. For those of you that do not know me, I know most of you here on Zoom, and I've been attending Alex's calls for the last, I want to say, like year and a half. And just like a lot of you probably, I've heard the story many times that most of us have the Course Miracles book on our shelf. I did so for a long period of time, and it wasn't until I ran into Alex that I actually started opening the book and reading it myself. And so now fast forward a year and a half later, this is the first class that I take with Marianne, and it was a 5-week course, and it's been life-changing. So I'm excited that we're here today, and I'll be able to share a little bit here and there as it comes up as to what she's been sharing with us, and so that I can extend it to you guys.
That's awesome. So I'll read some things and then I'll talk about some topics, and then you and I can just kind of go back and forth with some discussions. And anybody that has any questions that's in the Zoom, feel free to just raise your hand and then unmute yourself and then ask it. Okay, because this call, there's a lot of love and miracles that show up on this call because of the people that are here. And for everyone that is also watching on the different social media platforms or watching the replay, there is no accidents why you are here or why you're, whether it's in the past, whether this call is a replay or you're here live or you're watching it, there's no accidents that you've landed here. The Course says that all minds are joined. That means there cannot be an accident, that every forward movement, every motion, there are many little pieces, kind of little those wheels turning, and we are all part of those wheels, and there's no way that we can't be a part of it. We cannot recognize that we are part of this greater movement, that's this greater love, but there is no, I'm not going to partake in it. Regardless what you do, everything is a movement towards love, towards gratitude, towards that energy. Okay, because that is the only thing that is constantly expanding all the time. And you will play the exact role that you're supposed to play because you're part of this whole that is moving forward. It's kind of like this body, right? Let's just say this body is the whole picture of all the, every cell in this body is one human being on this planet or one life. And as I walk from here towards the door, every part is moving regardless what it thinks it's doing. Whatever it thinks is not the truth. It's just a perspective of its separated self, but the unit is moving forward and it will play its role no matter what. And that is really what we're doing, is we are playing our role no matter what, in our families, in people's lives, in our work, wherever we go, we are always playing that role. So then the question for us is, can we recognize that we are part of this greater movement, this greater motion, love in motion? And if we can recognize that, then the whole entire purpose and objective of us being here, or to rectify our mind, is really to say, God, what would you have me do? Or, what if you don't want to say God and universe, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say, and to whom? Right? It's to recognize that you are simply a receiver. Whether you align your mind to recognizing that truth or not, it doesn't matter. It's moving. Love is moving, and you are part of this movement. You can't be anything other than that. So you can decide that you're some, you know, that you're Alex separated from everything else, and you do this and you do that is different from all the other brothers and sisters out there, but it's all the same. You're part of the whole, the course calls the sonship. The sooner you recognize that, the sooner you realize that everything is expanding and moving in the direction of love, or moving in the direction of gratitude, or moving in the direction of anything that is on that energetic field. And that's why the title of today is Everything is Either Love or a Coming To of Love. And the coming to of love is only my recognition that I am part of it. Regardless if you recognize it or not, you are part of it. You are an innocent child of God. And forgiveness becomes, I need to let go of my stories, the things that I've seen, the experiences that I thought made up who I am. This identity of this self is about letting go of that I couldn't possibly be hurt by somebody else, because we are part of the whole. We are all together on this journey. There is no separated selves. That means I couldn't possibly be hurt. And if I start to recognize that that's the truth for me, then then this world isn't scary anymore. See, every conversation that I have, and I do a lot of multifamily, so we capital raise a lot. Every conversation, somebody will say something along the lines of, and whether they say it in words or not, is the trust factor. I don't trust this. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the housing market. I don't trust you. I don't trust anybody. It all comes down to this trust. But when you can have forgiven this whole journey of you being a separated son or separated daughter, separated child, then everything becomes safe. And this nightmare of a dream where it isn't safe, this world that we live in, it becomes a place of safety and love. So it's the coming to of love, but it's not that the love isn't here. It's the coming to of my mind to what is already here. So I'll pause there for a second. Anyone want to jump in? Natalia, if you want to say anything to that, you know, anybody can share. Sup, Tech? And oh, yeah, here. Go ahead, Mark. Oh.
Good, Mark. Gratitude for all of your presence and your smiles and everything about you.
Shanks.
You know, I'm 59 years old, and I've spent a major portion of my life looking at things, what was wrong in my life, what was right in my life, all these different variations of who I am and what the outside world was all about.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until when I was 50 and started to take that interpersonal spiritual journey to find out, you know, because I lost myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. And when it came down to it, I really realized that what I showed myself was that I'm always a choice. And recognizing what choice I make in every moment, whether it's, and I really came to the conclusion that I only want to be in peace in my life. And so I know what it feels like to be in peace. I know what it feels like to be in joy and smiling and being happy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I chose anything positive without stepping back and observing why I made that choice, what was it that kept me in that place for as long as I chose to be in that? You know, if I was in my stuff, why did I spend so much time being in my stuff? That it's just realizing kind of how I thought, you know what, I'm going to choose differently every single moment. Like, I'm just going to shift. I'm loving this moment. Just like you were sharing with us, Alex. Like, where's the love in this moment? How can I be forgiving? How can I be compassionate? You know, it's just thinking all the things that allow me to choose a better moment for myself and reflect on the see in the world.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful experience, just knowing, like, I'm creating my own reality based on my choices of beingness. If I want to go and look at somebody and say, oh my God, you know, that's horrible, or this is happening, you know, I have my moments of being human, but all in all, like, if I just look at it and say, you know, there's beauty in everything, and choose to be happy because I want to be that reflection. It's just a great way to be. So thank you.
Yeah. Natalia, feel free to hop in at any given point.
I was gonna jump in and say, so I asked Marianne Williamson the other day, I said, you know, as a teacher, as a recent student of the course, when are we ready to teach? That was my question to her. And when I heard Mark say that he's choosing in every moment, it reminded me of her answer. She said, all of us are students and all of us are teachers. And in every single moment that we're choosing, we are teaching and we are learning simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
We are teaching others how to be. We are teaching in the choosing of love instead of fear. We are teaching in the choosing of love instead of anger. In every single moment we choose, we teach by demonstrating. And that just like really landed for me because, and she later on said, the fact that nurturing the Course of Miracles is not making a teacher of God, but making a teacher of God is choosing. What am I doing in this moment? Practicing what I preach. If I go ahead and I don't practice what I preach in my day-to-day life, what am I demonstrating out in the world? And that really, really landed for me because my question was like, oh, when am I ready? When am I ready to God? Where am I ready? And her answer was that, like, here I am today. That led me to text Alex, like, oh, hey, by the way, whenever you need somebody to step up for you when you're traveling, count on me. And he's like, how about we co-host? And I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
So, like, to say that, like, when I heard that Mark say that, it reminded me of that. Like, we don't need to be sharing the Course in Miracles with others. Like, we are teachers in the being, in the choosing love. We're extending our love to another human being, especially in moments when it's challenging to do so, because the ego is telling us otherwise, especially in those moments. So it's a practice. And she said something to me that I think I might tattoo it in my arm. She said, nobody can determine for you the level on which you decide to play life.
Whoa, I like that.
Yeah. So I'm like taking that on to every single thing. I'm taking it on to my family. How am I being with other people? How am I showing up even like here today? I can't even fathom or like think about the idea of speaking live to a bunch of people. Like I would not have been able to do this 2 years ago. And here I am today. And moving forward, I'm gonna keep asking myself that. And in sharing with all of you, like for us to keep asking ourselves, like nobody can determine for us how we're gonna play life. So how am I playing life? And what Mark said is so powerful because we can get to ask ourselves, like, what would God do in this moment? What would God choose?
Mm-hmm.
How am I gonna choose to play life? Am I gonna choose fear? Am I gonna choose anger? Am I gonna choose love? Yeah.
That's awesome. I love what you said, like every moment, like we get to choose it. We get to choose how we want to show up. And every single day there will be, oh yeah, Natalia, if you can type it there. Also, just real quick, you guys see me moving around doing a whole bunch of stuff. It's because I spilled my entire drink on myself, on my keyboard and everything. So, you know, but I'm just going to sit here, soaked, all good, full of ketones. I knocked my phone over and spilled it all over me. And I spilled it right on my Apple keyboard. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going to flip it upside down. Anyways, I could lose my piece right there. You see, I could lose it. I could blame. And this is what we typically do is we go right into blame. Because for a moment, I was like, damn it, Nick, why you got to make all the cords so tight? You know, like he did cable management here. So all my cords are super tight. I'm like, this is why everything gets knocked over. We quickly go into blame, like real quick. And that's why I smiled. I was like, wow, I'm ridiculous. You know, and that's part of the healing. Part of the healing is to laugh and smile at yourself for doing stuff like this. as you are gentle on yourself, as you can express love to yourself in these moments, your mind begins to heal. And as your mind heal, and we go back to the beginning conversation, which is all minds are joined, then the entire collective is healing. Sometimes when you have like this thought of um scarcity, or you're unsure something's gonna work out, and you're like, oh man, I don't know. I was telling somebody, like, simply go into this forgiveness moment. As you think loving thoughts and send loving thoughts to different places, just watch the miracles that show up. And start to, and miracles, the course says that miracles is a natural occurrence. It is always occurring, because miracles is simply that at some point something happens and we recognize we are part of this love in motion, that we are part of it, regardless if we want to participate or not, if we recognize it or not, it is happening. And it's those moments where we're like, whoa, synchronicity, whoa, like there's miracles happening in our lives all the time. It's for us to recognize them, give them the proper attention, so that your mind can be changed. And Mark, you talked about choosing, right? Choosing what you are choosing. There's only two things you're ever choosing. You're either choosing to remember that you're part of this love emotion, or you're not. See, peace comes when we recognize, this is just all part of the motion. It may be something as extreme as somebody dying. It could be as extreme as losing all your money. It could be as extreme as getting into a fight with, your mother, your daughter, your sister, your brother, whoever. It could be that. But the recognition, see, all the healing and all the miracles come from when you recognize that, wow, all of this was to serve me. All of this was coming together to serve the greater good, that I'm a part of it. I got to participate in love being in motion. You either are recognizing that and remembering that, or you're not. There's only two choices that's happening. Okay. There's not more than that. So this is why I love the course, because it makes everything so simple. Like, it seems like, oh, it's either gratitude or scarcity. Oh, it's either love or it's fear, but they're all the same thing. Different forms of the same thing. There's either love or there's love. I mean, or there's fear. Actually, you know what? There's either love or there's love. Okay, that's your choice. What you decide it to be is up to you. But the only thing that's happening is either there's love or there's love. I like that. See, it's there's no accidents, anything that's ever said. So go ahead, Mark.
What's interesting is I took a course in Vipassana, the Vipassana course, where you sit in silence for 10 days. You don't look at anybody, you don't talk to anybody, and you don't read, you don't write, you don't do anything. You just sit with yourself and you do a lot of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably one of the scariest thoughts that I chose to take off myself. And actually, the first time my date was coming up, I let my ego talk me out of it. And I said, no, we can't make it. We're not going to go. And then the next year I said, no, we're going this year, no matter what. So we drove up to Jessup, Georgia. It was a beautiful drive. And the whole experience was, and the gentleman who was S.M. Ganoka, who is the facilitator, is on video from the 1980s. And, he kind of grounds you after each day that you've gone through your experience to explain what's going on. He said most people run on the second day or the sixth day because their minds just get so out of control that they either work through it or they don't, and they leave. So what the whole course literally taught was that you sit and you separate yourself from your mind, because there's always the observer of the mind who you think listens to the mind so intently is ourselves, right? You learn to distinguish the observer of the mind, and you learn to step back away from the mind's thoughts. They're there. It's supposed to be there. That's just what its purpose is. The brain is to create the mind and to create all the thought process. But when you learn to observe it from a distance, and you understand that, the body has its sensations, and it creates these, the sensations that show up based on the emotion that's starting to rise within yourself. and you understand that, and you say, okay, I'm getting angry right now. But rather than realizing it in the time of when you're already angry and you're already in that emotion, you observe yourself in a way where you can say, okay, look, this is what's coming up. I see it coming up. And then you ask yourself, what do you need? What do you need in this moment? And then if you need to excuse yourself, if you need to say something, you just get to honor yourself and put forth a request, either internally or externally, right? To share that. So I've learned, that was one of my greatest achievements in my life so far, is learning to observe the thoughts in my mind so that I can be the mediator of where my body is going to associate the emotions and the sensations and tie them together and create vigilance for myself or happiness. And I just choose differently by being that observer. And man, what a huge difference that makes, rather than just like waiting when you're in it and then you don't know how to get out of it. And then you have to go processing through it. I just want to share that. Vipassana for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is good in everything that you're saying. And there is a part of us that taking anything to an extreme makes it a vice. I think Michael, one of my mentors, told me, like, every virtue taken to an extreme becomes a vice. Patience taken to an extreme becomes a vice. Everything kind of taken to an extreme becomes a vice. And it's not about taking things to an extreme, And I love what you said about Vipassana, because it helps you recognize that there is another inner voice. There's another witnesser. Because the question comes down to, who am I really? If you ask your question, that's the question to ask. Who am I really? The answer is that you're part of this whole, this love emotion. But you're asking it, and your answer will most likely be something along the lines of who you are and what you do, and what you've experienced in your life. Those things become a part of the identity that we think we are. And that's why the Course actually says everything that you think you are is an idea to be undone. Because the witnesser is you, right? There is something else that is witnessing Alex's life playing out. There is something else that's witnessing your life playing out. And if we really look at it, that means even this body and who I think Alex is really outside of who I really am. And we can have battles with ourselves. And a lot of fear comes up around this outside identity of Alex. Like, somebody challenges my idea, challenges my beliefs. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh man, I got to be at war, because they're challenging this body. They're challenging the identity that I've built up in this 37-year lifetime. All right. Go ahead, Antoine.
Thank you. I'm on a wave of listening to Bob Proctor this week.
Nice.
And one of his core definitions is the circle, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is all about all the five senses.
Yeah.
That give you input into the conscious mind. And that's kind of, our first entry point. And I was listening to both of you. As an observer, you get to realize I got all these five things hitting my brain every milliseconds. And you can choose to accept or deny the things that are coming in. Oh, this is going to create anxiety. This is going to make me angry. This is love. I want love. So I'm on this little wave of now filtering things and only letting love come through. If it's coming from fear, thank you very much for your perceptions on that. But no, thank you. Just wanted to, it's kind of interesting. I never put it in the form of me being the observer and choosing.
Yeah.
I kind of like the way this whole conversation was going, and I just wanted to at least share the whole five input to our senses.
Yeah, thank you.
What came up for me as Mark and Antoine were sharing was that in the moment that I become aware, I feel like I have a better, I have the space to choose. It's like, oh, now that I'm aware and I'm experiencing anger, I now can choose. I know I can choose at all times. I feel like I've never put it this way, but I feel like the awareness is almost like giving me, now that I have awareness, that I'm experiencing anger, that I'm experiencing fear, let me choose again.
Yeah, it is. The choosing again. See, that's why we can forgive ourselves and we can forgive others. When we're easy on ourselves and we recognize that every time we are triggered, every time we're upset, every time that we are scared, it's bringing up for us something that I've chosen incorrectly the first time. And it's not that I've chosen the actual thing incorrectly, because you can't actually choose incorrectly, but I chose to look at it incorrectly. The way I perceived it was that this thing is bad for me, when there is nothing that can be bad for you. See, that's the recognition. The recognition, is that nothing could possibly be bad for me. It's only my perception that it could be bad that ruins my peace in the moment. So every trigger, every person, everything that robs you of your peace, the way to get back to peace, is not to attack it. It's not to, judge it, but it's to say, what an amazing opportunity. I lost my peace in this moment. There's so much, if you look at it, there's so much to look. So much growth comes from that. And now you can have gratitude towards it. Every time something upsets me, I've started, and this could be the Bob Proctor. This is the Bob Proctor part, which is filling my unconsciousness, okay, or the unconscious mind, which is our daily operational mind, okay, that unconscious part. We have to consciously interrupt it. The conscious mind requires us to interrupt our patterns. And as we keep interrupting this pattern, it goes into the unconscious mind. It becomes the new pattern. So the question is, what is my new pattern? What is my new unconscious pattern? So every time I get upset, I've interrupted it so many times that my upset and my triggers, I actually have a different relationship to it. I'm no longer angry at the person that upset me. I'm thankful and grateful for the person that upset me. You see, like that could be an unconscious mind, like the unconscious part of the mind that Bob Proctor talks about. Yeah, and as we keep interrupting these thoughts of fear and scarcity and attack thoughts, we keep interrupting it. We realize that, oh, when someone gives you the finger, you don't need to react this way, because there is a programming that you did react a certain way because you saw as an attack. Now you've reprogrammed yourself to respond with love. And we have to attack it from all different angles. Every day, our lives is showing us why we should respond to everything. And the proper response to everything is with love. No matter what. I was on the phone call with somebody yesterday. I was doing a 3-way call. And after the conversation, my buddy who connected us says, dude, this guy is not about gratitude. This guy is all about win, lose. It's all ego, all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But it's the coming to the recognition of it. The fact that you could even say that is all ego, you actually attacked first. See, your ego said that that's ego. So you actually attacked first. You cannot perceive attack without attacking first. That's how clever the ego is. And so we start to look at all the different ways in which the cleverness of the ego takes a hold of our unconscious mind. And then we can interrupt it here, and then we interrupt it here, and then we interrupt it here. And all of a sudden, we respond with love to all the things that we once responded with, anger and judgment and withholding of love. See, what, Natalia, why don't you, real quick, before we have the speakers ask anything, the withholding of love and anything that is not love, why don't you share that quote and talk a little bit about it? It's sticky everywhere.
It says,
I'm
"Any
soaked."
thought that hardens the heart and denies love deflects miracles
Mhm.
rather than attract them.
Seems to go on rice.
Miracles occur naturally as an expression of love.
It's soaked.
The absence of love in the absence of love, miracles are deflected. So it's this idea of like, when I open my heart and all I see is love, I attract miracles into my life. And the moment that I close my heart and I experience anger, fear, whatever that is, instead of love, then I deflect miracles from happening. The more I open, the more I choose love instead of fear, the more miracles are attracted into my life. And that really landed that thing for me because I remember I heard that recording right before I got called by Marianne Williams, and actually I texted it to you. Like, oh my God. And it had just happened. I had heard the recording because when she said this live, I was on the 10X Growth Con, so I didn't get to hear the recording then. And it goes back to like all the connecting the little dots. So she spoke into this on February 14th. I was in Vegas at Growth Con, didn't get to hear it. I decided to listen to it before the February 28th call, so that I'm ready for the call. Listened to it, and it was right. And the reason why it landed for me so particularly was because of that Sunday. I jumped the Sunday before. I heard this recording. I jumped on this call, and I asked you guys. I was like, I'm experiencing anger right now towards the person, and I was just like a blame machine. I was like putting the blame on another person, not taking ownership myself. And the ego was asking, like, shouldn't you be angry? I started experiencing anger. And I had extended an invitation to this person to give him a ride. And in that moment, my ego was telling me, you should be angry. You should be extending your love to this person who you should be blaming right now. And the moment that I chose to say, you know what? After I got on the call from Sunday, I extended my love to this brother and I said, do you want to ride? And we went to the event together, and right there and then I experienced a miracle. Had I not extended my love to this person who at that moment in time I was blaming for what had happened, I would not have experienced the miracle because I opened my heart. Because I extended my love to the brother and I was able to see that that was love itself. It's either love or a call for love. So
Is there something we can put this in that will dry this?
extended my love, I was able to witness
No
that
rice, no
miracle.
pasta, no
I
nothing.
had tears on my eyes, and I remember sharing with you.
Keyboard's gonna break.
And also realizing in the vision, like realizing that I had a part in it. I had a part in my existence, and by doing this, I was able to witness that miracle. Had I not opened my heart, that would not have happened. The way
This
that
cord
it
is
did.
short.
And I may not be sharing it live today, and I don't know whose heart is going to touch.
Yeah.
So.
Amazing. And thank you for stepping into it, and thank you for asking to collab on this. And and who knows, whenever I miss these calls now, I'm not gonna say no more calls. We're gonna just say, hey, it's your turn. Yeah. But it does feel, whenever I miss one, it does feel like the week becomes longer. It's weird. It's really weird. Like, I do it Wednesday and I do it Sunday, and whenever I miss one, I'm like, how long has it been since I've been on Zoom seeing people? It's like, and I practice it a lot on my own. Me and my wife, we talk about the course all the time. We read it all the time. So yeah. But getting to share with people on this call as this community grows and everybody shares their lessons and their teachings, it's amazing. So go ahead, Lyra.
Yeah, I just wanted to share lately the juicing, right? I have been noticing, I'm very proud of myself, I guess. I have been noticing that there are a lot of, I catch myself, for example, someone that said something that kind of didn't land well, and I choose to, do it again, over and over. And lately, when I write on my journal in the morning, a lot of it is coming up. Thank you for, helping me remember, because I forget all the time. And even like just little go back to what I'm supposed to be. So I was very grateful for that. This morning, a lot of it, that's what I was actually just writing. Thank you for making me remember this and that. And a lot of things, even little things. Yesterday I heard you said remarkable several times, right? And I love to write. I have piles of notebooks now, right? And I'm almost this notebook is the last page, and I go, I need to buy more notebooks, right? And yesterday you mentioned something about the remarkable. I said, oh, it's time for me to go look into that, right? And as I was going through it, and I had this scarcity coming up from me, and then all of a sudden I remember I was grateful for my business is the one who's gonna buy this for me. Thank you. And I just did it, and I'm so happy about it. So just little things like that. I'm so happy that I guess it's really now more paying attention to all of those things, even just little things. Paying attention to those that it's a miracle. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So miracle is also us choosing it. Like we can choose to see miracle everywhere, right? Even as little as I just had a scarcity thought and then I bought it. You could be super grateful for that, because money runs the world right now. Money is an energy that we are unsure. Like every moment it shifts back and forth with us. One moment we're like, oh, it's an exchange of energy, and the next it's like, I don't want to. If it's an exchange of energy, an exchange of gratitude or exchange of appreciation, that's kind of like a way to look at money. Then why would I withhold it? Right? And this is why we're so conflicted and confused, because I'm like, one part of me, love, tells me that money is a energy of gratitude, of an energy of appreciation, right? We exchange it for some good. Someone provided us a service. We're like, thank you very much. Here's the appreciation, right? And then when we do give the appreciation, we are really actually excited about it. But a part of our mind's like, whoa. That means you have less appreciation if you give that away. You have less of this energetic of appreciation. So it's this insanity that we go through back and forth. Like, oh my God, that costs too much money. Well, if money was not the idea that you made it out to be, then wouldn't you just get this because you want it? Because it's going to bring you some joy. So for me, every time I see something, I have these scarcity moments. And I'm not saying to just recklessly start spending money, but to look at it from a space like, and I say this to my wife all the time, and we have this constant reminder. It's almost like an affirmation. Do you love it? If you love it, buy it. If you love it, buy it. Because she'll go into, oh my God, this is too expensive, I don't want to get it. For example, Louboutin shoes. Okay. It's unreasonably expensive. Like, I have yet to be like, yeah, cool, it makes sense for me to buy it, so I don't buy that. But for her, she just like loves this pair, and I'm like, if you love it, buy it, right? Like, it's not like you love every pair and you're just gonna buy it for the heck of buying it, but you love it, then you get it. It doesn't matter what the price really is. And when we actually make that happen, when we choose love in the moment rather than choosing like the idea of money, it actually makes us feel better. You know how many people, somebody told me, a lot of people have told me that, investing in our real estate deals, they have never, ever wrote a $50,000 check and trusted it to somebody. And the moment that they did that, people tell me different things, like of different stuff that's opened up for them as a result of investing. Because your idea of money gets shattered in that moment by taking massive action like that. And so it could be a pen. I went to Office Max and I saw a pen for like $30. I'm like, dude, this is unreasonably expensive, but the pen looked really cool. It's a really nice pen. And I'm like, oh my God, here's my scarcity thought about money. So I bought it, and then I used this pen to sign every contract. Okay, I don't do that often, but every contract I get to sign, I sign it with that pen, and I'm creating miracles every moment. I'm reminding myself of that moment of scarcity versus abundance, that I chose abundance in that moment. Every time that pen becomes that for me. So we are meaning making machines, and we create that. What we choose to be on our mind is what we will see. All right. Go ahead, Mark, and then Desiree, and then I want to read something.
All right, cool. Yeah, I love where this whole conversation's been going all day, and I think it's all major value adds, as we say in the industry. I think what I wanted to share was like, you know, how many of us actually take the time in the course of a day and consciously breathe? Consciously breathe. So Stacey and I, we do a thing where we set timers in our phone for 5 minutes for peace. So it's like 5 separate times through the day. You just sit and breathe, no matter where you are, whatever time you have that goes off. You just stop and sit with your breath. Why? Because that's the miracle of our life, right? Our breath. And when you consciously sit with that, it just changes everything. And that was the same thing where I was saying, like, when we're in observation, we know that we're, you know, this is coming forward and it's starting to shift where we really want to be. We want to be love or anger. That we pause, right? We take that moment, just pause in that moment. Like, we don't have to respond right away, but it seems like, you know, our culture is sometimes you got to respond with something right away. But we don't. We just learn to pause in that moment and say, okay, well, I really need this moment, so I don't shift in the wrong direction. I think that was just something I wanted to share because that's made a huge, you know, like you were talking about, Alex, you know, that pattern. You know, we have to really work on building the pattern of observing ourselves where our minds went, where it's taking us away from love towards, you know, the opposite direction, and pause. And I'm complete.
Nice. Yeah. Anything that interrupts, right? Interrupts your automatic. Go ahead, Desiree.
Good morning. A lot of what everything is done this morning is like bringing to me. Ever since I got into that car accident, it's been 12 days. I've been taking time to reflect on the reasons why. Not the reasons of, oh, it's me, but there's a reason why I was placed where I was, when I was, and now the side effects are I have extreme facial spasms, but I've learned now that I can control them. And I've noticed that when I have them, it's because I'm either extremely stressed, I put myself in anxiety, I have extreme fear, and whenever I start feeling them come on, as Mark was saying, I take that moment to just take a step back, breathe, relax, say if this is not serving me, then I cannot put myself in that situation, or I cannot allow myself to be associated with that type of stress or something that's going to trigger that. And I've noticed that, and the whole thing with the scarcity is like there's this client that I have that causes me extreme stress and anxiety. And every time I have a conversation with him, when I have extreme spasms in my face. And I said to Nathan that even though I make good money with this client, I do not think that he is going to serve me in my life. And with the, you know, and that Nathan was just like, well, then that means I just need to work that much harder to make sure that you don't have to put yourself in those situations. Because it's just, we have to look at all the small miracles, and it's like, I really believe that this has happened because I put myself in stressful situations where I shouldn't even have to or know or need to. And so it's like, even like getting ready to talk, I felt like the anxiety coming on. I started feeling my face spasm. I had to take a moment and just decompress, get myself in a place of love and harmony in order to even speak so that my face doesn't do it and do what it does. And I can feel it tensing in my neck right now, but I know that I'm speaking of love and peace, and I'm in a really good state. And so these are the things, these are like the
small little miracles that I'm realizing that needed to come in order for me to see what I need to just let go of in my life, and just look for those small little miracles and be more aware and more conscious of myself and what I do and how I do it.
Yeah. We end up choosing the ego so much in our life that we don't even know that we're doing it. Either you are going to choose this moment that you're going to be and choose something different, or life's going to choose it for you in the form of a car accident, in the form of a heart attack, in the form of something that is telling you, hey, something's not working. And if something's not working and you keep doing it, it's life will slap you. It's like, hey, you're off course. You're going to get back on course. And it may look like, okay, I got to let go of this client that doesn't serve me. Either you do that, okay, or you got to shift your mind that there is no way he's not serving me. Right? So it's just a choosing. Like, I can choose to see it this way, that it's stressful to me, or let me start to change this possible stressful situation to a place of gratitude, and it no longer stresses me anymore. I saw it as a stress. See, that's the work. But if you can't do the work while it's in your face, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back from it. And also from Nathan's perspective, it doesn't mean that he has to work that much harder. See, the ego's like, oh, well, you lost some here, you got to place it there. As soon as you open the gap, okay, you choose something else, okay, you choose to end one thing, something is filling that space immediately. Okay, he does not need to be making any sacrifices. He does not need to add more time to his work. He needs to add faith. And you get to add faith. And so this is the moment that Natalia was talking about, that we are all teachers. How we respond to how someone else responds is important. Okay, you're teaching through your being. You are not teaching just simply through your words. Like, my being is that, hey, I trust. I give this up. I trust that something bigger will fill. Something that's more aligned will fill, because my mind is now more aligned. My mind is more aligned. That means more alignment will come to me. But if I think that, oh my God, if I let go of this good paying client, whatever, all of a sudden I'm not going to be able to pay for this and things are going to get tighter, then more of that will fill that space. See, it opens up a space and you get to choose what's going to fill that space now. All right.
You know, it's amazing.
Jinx.
Is that, you know, it's like when we're in that space, we're choking ourselves off, right? Because we close off our throat chakra. And because we don't speak our truth, it puts that blockage in that space. And you have the opportunity, even with this person, because like you decide, you know what, I don't need this person in my life. The person who's in our life is teaching us something, right? And that might be to open up our voice and to share and say, you know, if you have nothing to lose and you're going to leave him anyway, why not just open up the space for compassion and say, listen, I just want to share with you that this is what's showing up in my space when we work together. We either make adjustments in it, or have to make a new choice or a new agreement about the way that we're handling our business, so that you feel clear, you feel you're in a space of love while you're working in your environment.
Nice. Go ahead, Natalia.
I lost that train of thought.
All good. When it comes back, comes back.
God is the strength in which I trust.
Uh-huh.
And so the moment that I doubt, it's because I put in the strength. I'm trusting in my own strength.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I give it over to God and I give it over to the Holy Spirit, and I say, God is the strength in which I trust, I'm no longer relying on my own strength. So what Alex said, and then going back into this, and just giving over to the Holy Spirit, and why not think, like, because of this, and now letting go of this client just gives you an opportunity for all this space to be filled with a better, bigger, better paying client that you're going to be able to serve in the capacity to which you're now ready to serve because
Mm.
of the person who you are today. So that's what came up for me.
Well, that's what I've been giving it to, is not opening the space of, scarcity or whatever. But it's really just giving it over to the Lord and knowing that everything is being placed in front of me for a reason. And it's not for me to question it. It's for me to walk through the doors that He is putting in front of me and knowing the difference, between the ego of me saying, oh, XYZ versus just allowing myself to be in a present state and trusting and just knowing that He is going to provide no matter what. And that's where I sit.
Hmm.
And that's where, like, every single day is when I do the abundance book, it's really truly just knowing and sitting in that space and allowing me to really get present with myself and knowing how to gain peace within myself. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Go ahead, Antoine.
So Desiree, I was kind of in the same situation like you, not a car accident or anything, but my work environment, depending on the situation, can create a lot of stress. And I think I want to thank Alex in this moment because a month ago I brought it up about certain things just trigger me and get great anxiety and all these things. And he's like, well, you're creating all of these perceptions for yourself. And when he said it, it hit to the core because at the time I was also going through another Bob Proctor thing about all the 6 faculties that we have as humans, our superpowers: memory, perception, which is what we're talking about here, reasoning, memory, instinct, willpower. But I've been kind of growing my perception muscle for the last month.
Hmm.
And so if I'm creating a perception that this is anxious, this person is this, whatever, I've created these things. And I was like, when he told me, I was like, wow, I created all of this. I created all of this for myself. So internally, I've been working on building, well, 2 things. I've been filtering my external perceptions and I've been reviewing my internal perceptions that I've created all along.
Hmm.
And the second thing that has helped is the book of The Secret. There was a chapter, I don't remember the one specifically, but it was like, tomorrow, choose your feelings. What's going to happen? There's all kinds of feelings that, maybe there's a list of 20 of emotions you can go through. Choose gratitude. And this is, I write this out every day. I'm going to live tomorrow with the emotion of gratitude, as well as love, because love is God. So I choose it in advance. And Alex mentioned, do the work, right? So the work now is, if this is a blessing to you, this experience is a blessing to you, and you have to do the work, what is the definition of the work? So part of that is projecting, part of that is building your perception muscle. Use any of your superhero powers, but I intentionally now choose in advance love and gratitude for tomorrow. So no matter what happens, right, I am already like molded in a certain way. So, and the projection also helps influence the other person, or that person will just not be in my life anymore, whatever. I don't know, whatever the Holy Spirit chooses to accomplish.
Yeah, amazing. And like this moment is now tomorrow. And then this moment is now tomorrow. And then this moment is now tomorrow. Like there is no like tomorrow in terms of day. We don't want to get trapped in time and think future. There's just right now. That's the only thing that we can be sure of, is that right now is happening. And when you choose, like we can't be sure like, oh, tomorrow, like what's tomorrow look like? We can kind of extend this moment and our past moment to tomorrow. Like that's just an image of tomorrow, but tomorrow may not look anything like right now or anything I can even fathom. But I can also choose it, because what I see in my mind, this is the perception. Projection makes perception. Okay, like I'm projecting it out there, and this is the secret. The secret is projection makes perception. What I project out there, I perceive back. That is the law of attraction right there. Okay, I am projecting it. I can only see that. That means if I choose love and gratitude on my mind, that is what I'm going to see because I can't see anything else. Everything comes through the filter of gratitude, and that means I can only see gratitude. Somebody could be yelling at each other on the bus stop or on the street, and all I see is a bunch of love happening. It just looks like a weird form, like people are yelling kind of loud, but it's like it's just love happening because love is on my mind. And so I want to, this has been a really great call, and I want to take questions and more thoughts, but I want us to let's put some of the readings in here, and then let's have a discussion of it in the last 25 minutes that we got. Yeah. Okay. So people ask me all the time, they're like, what books are you reading? I got all these books back here, and I've read some of them and listened to some of them. These are books that I've actually like opened up and read. But most of the times they're like, what books do you recommend for like multifamily and investing? I'm like, A Course in Miracles. Who's your favorite author on abundance and on investing and multifamily? I'm like, Marianne Williamson. So it's I just read these all the time, and it gives me the right direction because everything is just different forms of the same thing. So let's see for this moment right here. Everyone think about something that you're challenged with, that you may have conflicts about, right? You're like, I don't know, maybe should I do it? Should I not? Like anywhere where you're lacking trust. When I read this, let's see if we can shift our minds into something else. Okay. And I'm just going to read the introduction to Marianne Williamson's book, A Year of Miracles. Okay. A miracle is a shift in thinking, a shift from fear to love. At first glance, that sounds a bit ridiculous. How does shifting a thought cause miraculous change? And yet it does exactly that. For every thought we think creates form on some level. A simple thought, seemingly trivial or even unimportant, carries within it the power to move mountains. And that is the least it can do. There is no worldly power, no money, no technology, no business, no government that can match empower the power we wield by simply using our minds for the purposes of love. I love, you might say. And of course you love. We all do. The problem, however, is that we do not love only. We love, but then we take it back. We love, but then we stop when it becomes inconvenient. We love, but only until the ego is challenged by the thought of risk. And so it is that while we love, we do not wield the power of love. We love, but we do not love only. And so we love, but we do not work miracles. The purpose of this book is to help guide your thinking to the thoughts of love that will break the chains of fear that binds you. One moment, one situation, one thought at a time. We can evolve beyond the power thought forms that keep us bound. And in doing, we become miracle workers, working miracles for ourselves and for the world. The first place to start working miracles is not in the world around you, but in yourself. You're not going to work a miracle in your environment, but in your mind. Because mind is the cause, the capital cause, and the world is effect. We change the world by changing the thoughts we think about the world. Begin with a simple step. Put down this book and look around you. Look at the chair you're sitting on, or the table that's next to you, or the walls that's around you, and ask yourself this: what are my thoughts about this chair, or this table, or this wall? That they're not good enough, or nice enough? Or do I never really even think about them at all and just take them for granted? Now try a simple shift. Wow, how lucky am I to have a chair? Billions of people do not. How fortunate I have a table. Billions of people do not. And how lucky I am to have walls around me. Billions of people do not. Notice the slight energetic shift that occurred within you when you made that change. How your thinking went from a kind of hard place to somewhere softer, from somewhere floating around your head to someplace deep within your heart. So we could take a moment and just look at something that we have. We have so much stuff. The United States is full of stuff. Okay, we have so much stuff that we can't even we take everything for granted. A cup, clean water. And this is why I love traveling to different places, just to get a perspective of how great of a place I live in. You know, we can do that just simply by showing gratitude to anything that you have around you. And we now know this. You just shifted the universe. You went from a place that's kind of hard to a softer place. You went from some place that is just floating around in your head to deep within your heart. You've honored things. You've changed your mind about the things and the people and the situations around you. And you've changed the world just by doing that. Yes, that is what I said. The wind currents at the North Pole are affected when a butterfly flaps its wing in South America, and the entire world is affected by every thought you think. You don't have to believe this idea, of course. A miracle worker simply just knows it. Anyone can be a miracle worker. Every one of you, everyone listening, you are and you can be a miracle worker. Anyone who chooses to be. Anyone can hear the sound of an ancient melody that calls to all of us, beckoning us to remember who we truly are and what power we have. A miracle worker accepts the idea that every thought has an effect not only on the one who thinks it, but to everyone else as well. It isn't necessary to believe any of this. This is a guidebook, not a doctrine. Simply try it out and watch things change. So we've already established that you might not have had a clue about the significance of your chair or your table or your walls, and yet the meaning that we ascribe to anything will determine what meaning it ultimately has for us. Think something isn't good enough, and it never will be. Think something is wonderful, and it will only get better. So thoughts like this are miraculous thoughts. I give thanks for this chair, for this table, for this wall. I remember with compassion those who do not have such simple amenities, and I pray they will receive what they need. I surrender myself that I may be used in bringing the end of suffering to all the world. That is a great prayer. See, that's not a prayer of asking for anything really material. It's a prayer of, let me just recognize what is. Let me recognize who I am. Let me recognize the chair, the table, the walls. Let me remember who I am. And let me be used to bring an end to all the suffering, to all the forgetting. Let me remember so I can bring an end to all the forgetting that's in the world. You are a teacher simply by just remembering that. Now, what does such thoughts just do for you? Not for others, but for you. For me, it's more remembering. I know this ancient call, this ancient melody that it talks about. People have been passing this message on through books, through songs, through documentaries, through all this stuff. They're passing this message on through all the noise that's out there. But this is a truth that is being passed on, and it will always continue to pass on, because people will recognize the song and they will sing it. They will sing it in their own way, but they will sing it, and you will sing it. But will you let yourself be impacted in such a way that you're going to do something about it? That you will choose to be a teacher in every moment. You will choose to be a miracle worker. For you. Not for anybody else, but for you. They establish you within a different corner of the universe. You move for someone with a slightly open heart to someone with a more fully opened heart. And the more open your heart, the more miracles you will receive. For miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. When you choose love, you choose to work miracles. What follows, so now this book is 365 readings that, when read daily, encourage you to stay focused on love and to avoid the distractions of fear, anxiety, shame, guilt, and everything else that is not built on love. It is only a daily choice to think with love that determines what miracles come into our lives. The universe is ready to bless you. Are you ready to receive these gifts? My prayer is that this book will help you. A year of miracles. And maybe we should just read day 1 and see where we go. So let me just continue real quick. And then we're going to open up for the conversation. Day 1. The universe is conspiring in every moment to bring me happiness and peace. The universe is not random, but intentional. It reflects the will of God, the cosmic thought driving all things toward greater perfection. My ego mind, my own self-hatred masquerading as self-love, would point me always in the direction of fear, luring me towards a blaming thought, an attack, or defense. The perception of guilt in myself or others. Its goals is my suffering or the hell of my own illusions. The spirit within leads only to joy, as it inspires me to see the love in everyone and the possibility of miracles that lie inherent in all things. The universe itself is the handwriting of God. As he constantly creates and recreates perfection that he is. Within that perfection, I have my true being. And within my true being, I am happy and at peace. Today, I will not be tempted to wander the byroads of pain, but rather I will set my feet upon the path of joy and peace. May the Spirit of God protect my mind from any forces of fear that would divert my thinking. May I not be deceived into false belief, the validity of guilt and attack, but rather may I constantly be uplifted to the divine perceptions of innocence and love. For there I shall experience the bliss of God's creation. So, day 1, take as you will today. The universe is conspiring in every moment to bring me peace and happiness. Wow, that was a lot. So, open it up for shares. What did you hear? What conflicts? What questions? What answers did you hear in there for yourselves? Shirley's like, yeah. On IG, you gotta join us on Zoom. We miss you here on Zoom. Every day, every moment should be dedicated to miracles. Miracles is a natural occurrence, natural expressions of love. And you can take everything that we read right there and apply it to everything in your life. That a simple shifting to gratitude will change your experience of your environment, your experience of an investment, your experience of the material world. And Antoine, you talked earlier about this journey and this path that you've been on for the last month. And it's not about going down a rabbit hole of trying to understand. Oh, it's been so long since I've seen you. It's about recognizing what an illusion is. Okay, all of your perceptions are illusions. So when we go through it, we don't have to go down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out perception and illusions. All we simply have to do is, oh, there's a perception. It's not the truth. As soon as I recognize that it's not the truth, it doesn't have a hold of me anymore. And if it doesn't have a hold of me, I can have fun with it. I can have joy with it. And that's the point of it being in your life, to show you that everything is joy. You can have joy and you can have excitement about all the stuff, even though it may seem like you're losing something or sacrificing something, or somebody is sacrificing or being attacked or shamed or guilted. We can shift all that. Oh, that was a perception. I saw it this way. Even if I choose to say that, okay, it's a good thing that we should all do this, it's still a perception that we and others should this, should that, okay, should all over everything. But it's like, okay, great. That's love. Should people do it? Maybe. Is that what they're supposed to be doing right now? If you go into the should, it's no different than judging and attacking. You're simply saying, God, move over. Okay. All the things that people are doing, they shouldn't be doing it. They should do this. And then here goes my mind down that rabbit hole again. But let's just have fun with it. Oh, great. They're doing this. Awesome. Good. Spirit is deciding that they need to do this right now. You know, they're robbing a store. They're robbing the bank. Spirits must be saying they must do this. Blessings to all the people involved in everyone's lives that it touches over there. Hopefully, they return to God soon. My only job, okay, is to shift my mind to gratitude for all the things that I see. Oh man, I'm so grateful that I experienced this, that I saw this. I got a chance to see somebody robbing a bank. I don't even know why I'm saying robbing a bank right now, but it just seemed like something that's not that bad, but not that good either. So it's not an extreme, I feel like, right? I don't know. Because banks rob us all the time. Just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, it's recorded. Somebody's coming after me. All right, go ahead, Jessica.
God is so amazing. The moment that you learn something, right away that's you. You know, I had this practice. I watch Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock in the morning, right before this, and after Sunday morning comes Face the Nation. So at that time you come on, so I just mute it and it's in the background. And God's just so perfect. And sure enough, today, you know how I am about the politics and how it was important, you know, to remove myself in order to keep my peace. And as soon as he started talking about Marianne Williamson throwing her hat in the ring about being president, I'm like, wow, I saw light. And then I'm looking at the screen, and there's Donald Trump, you know, going there, and they're having the background and everything. He's beating DeSantis on the polls and everything. And right away, for a second, I lost my peace. Back in 2016, when I was sweating for 4 years, I suffered intensely, everything, and I'm like, I'm not going to go through this again. There's just no. I choose to remove myself from whatever happens in this election. Obviously, if Marianne Williamson throws her hat in the ring, I won't go for it. But I refuse to get back into that space that took my peace literally for like 4 freaking years. And I'm watching everything. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do this again. So I choose to let it be and not get involved in what's going on right now, because it'll be 6 months before the election and I'll be suffering the entire time. So I'm not going there. So.
Yeah, you can have fun with it too, you know, like laugh at yourself for doing that. You know, don't hide from it, because the more you try to hide from it, the more it will show up in your face. It's kind of like, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to have this idea of money. And all you do is just keep rerunning. I don't want to do what my parents did. And then you just recreate and replay that whole thing back out again. Because universe is like, did you say don't, or you said you do? All I heard was playing it back out. What your parents did.
I just choose to trust.
Yeah.
It's going to be what it's going to be, and it'll be perfect.
Yeah. Like, can you be so neutral? And you know, here's a practice. When the Giants play the Eagles, can you be neutral about who wins?
Oh, you had to go there, didn't you? You just had to go there.
Yeah. Because I know I went through that. You know, I do go through that too. I have teams that I want to win, and then I'm in the middle of the game. I'm like, I just hope it's a good game. You know, let's have a good game here.
I feel like that about the Super Bowl, but deep down in my heart, I really didn't want Philly to lose, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I was born in Argentina, so I'm a soccer fan, and I was obsessed with soccer. And the year that I let it go, I was like, you know what? If we win, we win. Like I actually attended the World Cup in Brazil the year that it was in Brazil. Like I was obsessed. The year I let it go, Argentina wins the World Cup. And I didn't even watch the game. I was in a real estate conference. So,
Hey, that real estate conference, it was pretty crazy. I mean, it was Grant just decides to have the real estate conference in the middle of the World Cup, you know, and then he has GrowthCon in the middle of Valentine's Day. It's funny. But those of us that will,
And he did that stadium. He did that the Super Bowl weekend when we filled up the stadium in LA.
yeah, it's crazy.
2 years ago.
I like it. I like when things challenge the norm. But yes, you know, I actually, when I went into that game, I was like, and I messaged you, I was like, I don't know. Why do I kind of want the Eagles to win? You know, why am I like kind of rooting for the Eagles? Like, like they're rivals of the Giants, but I think now they're still representing the NFC East. So I feel like I got to root for them. And then somewhere in the middle of the game, I really liked the Chiefs, and I started rooting for the Chiefs too. So that was weird, but you know, I usually watch games and I have like who I want to win. So that was a fun experience. All right. Antoine, go ahead. And thanks for contributing so much today and the past couple calls. Love it.
Your reading was very profound to me, and I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. I have actually never heard before that the universe is always ready to bless me. And I thought that, I was like, whoa. You know, it also said something about it's conspiring at all times to bless me. It's working really, really hard, I guess, to penetrate me. And I've never just, the concept itself never occurred to me. And so the analogy of the funnel comes to mind, right? It looks like I have this little hose and I need to open it up a little bit more because something else is trying to come through me, right? And I just thought that was a very powerful concept to walk away with today. The other picture in my mind was there was a definition of what is abundance when I was listening to the secret. And the guy's abundance is life. The trees, the grass, the birds, everything, the whole earth is doing its thing out of abundance around you. And you're part of that energy. And so let that abundance also, you know, come through you, work for you, etc. But conceptually now I'm actually I'm starting to see abundance all around me. And then today when you mentioned, yeah, you know, the universe is conspiring on your behalf for you to get all these things. I'm like, wow, okay, so to me, that's very powerful. And then I'll just say another last thing, you know, the concept of a teacher, I think you've said it like 3 times on the call, you know, we all teachers through remembering, and that's been like poking at me all day long. Like, why is he a teacher? I've never saw myself as a teacher, right? So, but I do have a paradigm that for me personally, growing up, I never thought I was smart. I always thought maybe I had a mental disability. And I built this paradigm over the years that once I understand it, I can teach it. And the work that I've gone through with that was that, you know, any new concept that I feel that I've finally understood, I have this energy that I can pass it on. And so all of these things that we're talking about today, your teacher through remembering and et cetera, to me, those are very powerful messages that I'm receiving today.
Yeah. Here's the thing about that. You can't help but teach. You don't have a choice but teach. Every time you experience something great, you're going to want to share it. It's the natural law of expansion. So you are going to teach. You're always teaching one thing or another. No matter what, through your example and through your beingness, you are teaching. So in order to, and why is it natural for us to want to share? And why is this the law of abundance? Because as we learn something, in order for me to keep it myself and to understand it, I must share it. See, now this challenges all the money stuff. All the dream world is, man, in order for me to have, I got to give it away. I got to talk to more people about it. It's the everything is an idea. What I just learned is an idea. In order for me to keep this idea or expand it or to understand it, I have to share it. I got to teach it. So, am I a teacher in this moment or am I a student? It's confusing, right? Because it's happening at the same time. You are always a teacher and you are always a student. As you teach, you are learning. That's why I'm teaching A Course in Miracles all the time, because I'm a dedicated student. I just want to learn. I want to learn and I want to remember. And the only way for me to do that is to share it with more people. See, from that perspective, I can share without ever having the need to want anything in return. Because, man, I'm just so grateful that there's 14 people on this call listening to my shenanigans. And there's people on that actually want to hear what we're saying here and be involved in this discussion. Like, teacher, students, always just doing a dance. The idea of teacher and student is just doing a dance. And if I can provide anybody an opportunity to step into teaching, you know, one of the things I have written on my purpose is to inspire others to teach. Everything is inspire joy, okay, inspire love, inspire people to teach, inspire people to inspire. Like, it's such simpleness, because I don't actually have to do anything. I just like to inspire could be anything. Just being. Well, people may or may not be missing out, right? Because as we shift our minds about it, the whole world is shifting. So people are listening because your minds are changing. The entire world is changing. The North Pole is shaking right now because our minds are shaken. So, yeah. Okay. We are now at the, I never want to leave this call. I'm always trying to like not look at the time in the top corner of my computer, because, I can do this all day. I think someday I just want to be done with everything else and just simply teach A Course in Miracles 7 days a week. That's going to be, that's my dream. That's my goal. All this stuff. Like, I want to be doing it in Bali. I want to be doing it in Mexico, go to Peru. Like, wherever I go is just what I want to be doing, is teach A Course in Miracles. That's it. Last thoughts before we, wrap this up, because I've been sitting in a puddle for an hour and a half. Literally, it's soaked over here. My keyboard soaked. All this bottom half of my body is soaked. So.
But you don't feel like having any pizza or fries, though, right?
No, I don't. But I kind of this is like a reminder, I guess, of what a diaper feels like. For babies. Like, babies poop and pee, and they gotta sit in this soakiness the whole time. This is what it's like to be a baby. Just sit here in this puddle. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Going back to the innocence.
Yeah, back to the innocence. Just spill a whole thing of sticky drink onto your body. Go ahead, Carolyn.
I
Mhm.
love like the like, this is exactly what we're talking about today, about like we are teaching as you're being, and regardless of the circumstances in which you are right now, the way that you're being, that's what you're teaching, and we are learning and teaching simultaneously. So thank you for that, Alex.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for recognizing. Okay. Oh, look, my keyboard still works. See? Nothing to get upset about. All right, go ahead, Carolyn.
Well, this has been a wonderful session. I have also been immersing myself in real estate books. So someone recommended a book to me that I want to pass on. It's about life, but we can apply it to anything. And it's called Chop Wood, Carry
Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, great book. You want to be a master? Chop wood, carry water.
There are lots of good nuggets of wisdom in it.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Well, thanks for being here. It's good to see you on a bunch of my calls too. Yeah, you're great.
Love this session.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, this is every Sunday, every Wednesday. We do this 10 a.m. Eastern. You know, make sure you set an alarm. Tell your friends. The more people in here, the more opportunities for miracles, you know, because we learn through each other's experiences as well and are shifting in them.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, so I'm going to read one final lesson to take us to the day, and then I'm going to go change my shorts. All right, lesson 290. My present happiness is all I see. Unless I look upon what is not there, my present happiness is all I see. Eyes that begin to open see at last. And I would have Christ's vision come to me this very day. What I perceive without God's own correction for the sight I made is frightening and painful to behold. Yet I would not allow my mind to be deceived by the belief the dream I made is real, not an instant longer. This the day I seek my present happiness and look on nothing except the thing that I seek. With this resolve, I come to you and ask your strength to hold me up today, while I but seek to do your will. You cannot fail to hear me, Father. What I ask has already been given, and I am sure that I will see my happiness today. My present happiness is all I see. I am sure that each one of us will see our happiness today. All right. Amen. Aho. Thank you all for being here. It's time to go get dry and clean up.
Think tank time.
Think. All right, bye everybody.